Welcome, Math Crew. Let's puzzle our way through a rectangle problem. We are going to do our puzzling today with Desmos. The length of a rectangle is 1 more than 4 times its width. The area of the rectangle is 105 square meters. Find the dimensions of the rectangle and find the perimeter of the rectangle. In a liberal arts math class, this is intended to be kind of a puzzling problem where you play around with the numbers and see if you can find the dimensions of a rectangle that will work for you and then go back and answer the questions. For a problem like this, where the area of the rectangle is given, it can be kind of challenging to do the puzzling. And if you give up on the puzzling and you head toward algebra, that gets challenging as well. We do need to get ourselves organized. Let's see what happens. We'll get rid of the thinker and we'll put in a rectangle. So here's a rectangle. We know that the length of the rectangle is 1 more than 4 times its width. So if we declare the vertical edge to be the width, W, then the length, the horizontal edge in this case, will be 4 times W plus 1 for 1 more than 4 times its width. When you want to find the area of a rectangle, that will be base times height or length times width. So we would use W times 4W plus 1 in quantity form in parentheses. When we do that, we should get 105. Here's what happens. The area is supposed to be 105. The area is length times width. We'll get 105 equals W times the quantity 4W plus 1. And if you are in an algebra style of course, you might distribute that W through the quantity 4W plus 1 to give you 105 equals 4W squared plus W. And in an intermediate algebra course, you would want to set this equal to 0 and then maybe try factoring or the quadratic formula to solve this. If you're going to do it algebraically, you would get 0 equals 4W squared plus W minus 105. But that's not the kind of course that we're in this case. So let's see how we can use the information 105 equals W times 4W plus 1 with Desmos to find a result. So there's our Desmos screen. I'm going to just grab the information the area is length times width and that 105 equals W times 4W plus 1, that quantity. In the Desmos screen, I'm going to plot a couple things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot the left-hand side of the equation as Y equals 105. And then I'm going to plot the right-hand side of the equation also as Y equals. And instead of W's, I'm going to use X's. That'll keep Desmos happier. So X times the quantity 4X. Oops, it's not doing it. There we go. X times the quantity 4X plus 1. Okay, so I have two graphs. One for the left side of the equation and one for the right. And I want the places where the two graphs coincide. And you'll notice that there are two of them. One of them is over here with a negative X coordinate or a negative W coordinate in our case, and I don't want that. We don't want negative widths. So I'm just going to stick over here in this first quadrant with the positive coordinates. And if I come up here to where the two graphs intersect and I click, trying to click around there, where did it go? Lost my cursor. Ah! Gotta pop it back. There we go. All right. If I try to click on my Desmos graph right exactly at that point of intersection, a little dot will pop up for me with an ordered pair, and it reads 5, 105 in ordered pair form. The 105 is that the left-hand side of the equation that we had in the yellow box. The 105 represents the area of the rectangle. The 5 represents the width, the X coordinate or the width, and so that's going to be the width of our rectangle. So we have a little bit of information we can go use. To get to the answer to the rectangle problem and decide if it's reasonable and perhaps check it, let's get ourselves organized. Here's the rectangle again. We came up with w equals 5 in the Desmos graph, and that means the width of the rectangle is 5. So we know the width. Then we need to go back and find the length because they asked us for the dimensions or the length and the width of the rectangle. Remember that the length was 4 times the width plus 1. So to find the length of the rectangle, we'll do 4 times 5 plus 1, and that'll give us a length of 21 meters. So we have our length and we have our width. We need to also find the perimeter. We were asked to find that. And that means that we need to add all of the edge lengths together. So we would have 2 sets of 5 meters and 2 sets of 21 meters added together. 2 times 5 plus 2 times 21 will equal 52 meters for a perimeter. We've answered the questions. Are things reasonable? Well, we have all positive values. That's good when we're talking about lengths. As far as checking to make sure that we are okay, is the length for one more than 4 times the width? And the answer is yes. We kind of force that to happen. And then we can check the area. When you do 5 times 21, you get 105 square meters. And so I think our work here is done.